Today, I want to talk about my framework and formula for having a $500,000 business in the mortgage industry. That's why I said business, because in the beginning, I just had a hair on fire, chaotic, all consuming, demanding job. And I remember realizing that if I was going to get to the next level, I needed to become a business person, not just a crazy, charismatic, hair on fire salesperson willing to do whatever it took to win and to achieve. So, why 500,000? It actually has nothing to do with the income. Of course, I do want to get you to a place where you feel stability in your career. You know you deserve and belong here in this industry, that this is your career, this is your jam. You are good at it. You deserve the job. That stability feels so good when you found your thing and you found your people and you're like, yes, this is it. But I want you to feel that confidence and to have that swagger and to have that peace that comes because you have a plan and you have a real business. And most importantly, I want you to be able to build a business that gives you freedom. Freedom of your time, freedom of purpose and the way you want to keep growing and expanding, freedom in relationships so you can choose who you want to work with. You be the buyer, you choose. And finally, financial freedom, because we go to work to make money, to build wealth, to create opportunity for our family, for our communities, and to give us possibility in our lives. So today I'm going to talk about my framework, which is first, you've got to have the vision. What is it that you're building? What does it look like? How many people are on your team? How many families are you serving? You got to know your numbers. You got to then believe it's possible, that this vision that you have that's now clear, that you can see it, but that you, with your unique talents and strengths and your marketplace, with your skill set and level of mastery, can go build this. Once you believe it, you've got to have the plan so that you have focus and you just work the plan. Then you've got to look at accountability. Who's going to keep you accountable to the plan? What systems and tools are you going to use for accountability? And then finally, what community are you going to build around yourself? What rooms are you going to put yourself in? What teams are you going to associate with so that you can continue to level up and to get feedback and to get the support you need to break through those next barriers for unlocking new levels of success? So, as I've said many times, when I got involved in the business at 23 years old with $1,000 to my name and no college degree, I literally just wanted to survive. Of course, that first goal was make $100,000 a year because that's when I felt like I deserve to be here. I am a professional if I've got a six-figure income in doing this. But I had no real vision, like who I wanted to work with or how I was going to do business. It was a mindset of just hustle, grind, beg, get creative, work your butt off, do whatever it takes. And so here's what I want to give you for a couple ideas that I'll have for you on this vision today. Number one, I want you to have a real business, not just a high stress demanding job. Two, I want you to have a solid income so that you can build that wealth and freedom for your family, but also so you can provide real opportunity for badasses that want to be on your team. I want you to have a team because it is so much more fun to succeed together, to high five somebody as you go. Having a team that is fun, that you're proud of, that you want to spend time with, and also having a team so you can get some time off. We work so hard to create success, but if we never actually take time to enjoy it, what are we doing? In many other countries, they work to live, not live to work. And building a real business with a real team gives you that opportunity to shut it down, to take a 2-week vacation, to hike Mount Kilimanjaro like my friend Brad Engel. And then also, I want you to just understand what's possible for you. I never imagined earning $500,000 a year or moving my family to Spain and working abroad from Spain, or building a 150-person team or $1 billion in production. Those were never visions that I had. But I started with these first, which is to build this real business and to have this stability, the confidence, and the freedom so that I could keep growing to those next levels. So, what does that look like? It looks like 15 families a month. Okay. I always talk in units because units is the great equalizer, especially if you're running a team. I don't like talking about how many millions of dollars in volume you're doing. This is a family. This is a customer. This is, how many families are you serving? So if you're doing $5 million in volume a month, but you're only helping 2 families, well, you got a problem. One deal falls apart, you lost half your income and half your volume. Also, if you're only working on 2, 3 loans a month, that's not enough work or opportunity to sustain a full-time person. So we've got to focus on units. So this looks like 15 closings a month. This looks like 75 leads per month. Ideally, there's 75 referrals, people that come highly referred to you. Those are way more fun than leads. This is a 20% lead to funded ratio. Okay, this is very realistic. You're going to get referrals from all kinds of people because to have a real business is to have width, meaning you have a ton of different referral sources. So your business isn't fragile to losing one mega account and you're out of business. So some of those are first-time home buyers, some of those are jumbo leads, some of those are second homes. I want you to have a business that has variety and depth and stability. I'm looking for you to have at any given time probably 40 to 50 people pre-approved. That is your future income. So the first thing you need to do getting off of this podcast is go actually pull your pre-approvals. How many hot shoppers do you truly have? Get them on your whiteboard, get them in your Salesforce dashboards. Like this is the inventory. This is the asset that you've built. Those are your future closings. And so whatever you've got to do to build up to that, 50 units sitting there, if you always have 50 people pre-approved at any given time, they've submitted their documents, they've had a full pre-approval meeting with you, you're going to pop out 15 closings in general. The reason you need 15 closings a month as well is I want you to have at least 2 teammates. Okay. In my mind, a profitable, healthy team has 5 closings per person. So if it's you and it's a lead admin and a pre-approval manager, that's 3 people total. 3 times 5 is 15 closings. When you've got 2 people, one can be out sick, one can have surgery. You could be out for a week or 2. You've got 2 people to cover you. It's a really nice, stable business. It's like 3 legs of a stool. I love a 3-person team. It's a mighty team, especially because you can start getting people in their specialty area zones. So now you got the vision. You must believe it's possible. So do you believe it's possible to close 15 loans a month? Do you believe it's possible to generate 75 leads a month? What is it going to take? I would say that on average, you probably need about 40 agents that know you and like you and would refer you business. Okay. I would call these A or B partners. If you're a salesperson, a business person, you have a list. You are working with referral partners. So that's something you've got to immediately go do is say, how's my list? All of you that have been working the Rainmaker 10-10-10 challenge, the first thing I made you do is go get a top 50 list put together. And for some of you, you have way more people than that, but they're stale, they're old. There's people you wouldn't even want to pick up the phone and call. You need to remove them from your list. You need this clean list of 50 people that you would love to help them succeed, help them grow, be excited to get on the phone with them and work on a partnership or a new business idea or what have you. But you probably need 40 of those that you would rank A or B. And A is somebody that really likes you, loves you, refers you. Ideally, they're closing 4 units a year with you. That's an A partner. That's an account, somebody who's going to close 1 deal per quarter with you. Okay. Now, some people ask, how do I qualify this person? Well, Sometimes you work with a newer agent. They close 4 deals and you get all 4 of them. Sometimes you work with a mega team or mega agent and they're closing 60 deals and you only get 4. So I don't really care, but my goal is to move people up from, a C to a B to an A. And an A is somebody that is referring you strongly and is closing 4 or more deals with you. A B is somebody that's closing 1 to 3 deals with you, but they've definitely broken the trust barrier and they're referring you. They haven't promised they'd refer you, but they've actually referred you. Okay. So if you want to be generating 75 leads per month, you need to have 45 agent talk tos every single week. So you better have a list of at least 50. I would say you always need to have a fresh prospect list, which would be a D list or a C list of at least 25 agents that you have sitting there in a prospect list that you're looking to form a relationship with. So how do you start believing that it's possible that you can close 15 units, generate 75 leads, manage 50 relationships? How do you do that? Well, you start hanging around people that do that now. Okay. This is why I'm so big on coaching, obviously listening to this podcast and listening to other people and realizing that whether they're a technician or a marketer or a trust builder or they're a networker, that it's possible no matter how old you are, where you come from, what your background is, how many years you've been in the business, if you're an extrovert, you're an introvert. I have seen every walk of life and every personality type be successful and build a team like this, which is why I believe so much that it's the plan and it's the plan that works. You've got to bring your best self to the table. You've got to stretch yourself to be the biggest version of you. If you're shy, you've got to push that shy boundary. If you are introverted, you're going to have to push that introvert barrier. We all need to be more bold and step into our most powerful selves in order to keep growing, bottom line. However, this business does not care what degrees you have. This business doesn't care how long you've been doing it, and it certainly does not care what your personality is. You have the ability to write your ticket. So find people who have what you want, do what they do, and you will get what they've got. It requires action. And what it's going to require is probably 2 years of diligent focus. I mean, foot on the gas, focus every single week for 2 years. Yes, there may be some vacations in there, but if you do that for 2 years, I'm telling you, you can absolutely build this business. The problem is most people do not know how to stay consistent, be disciplined, and buy into a 2-year plan. They want the quick fix. We're an immediate gratification society. So everything that we generally do is about some immediate gratification. And that's not what building a real business looks like. So you can't build your pipeline and then take your foot off the gas because you're managing it. You can't build your pipeline and then go on a month-long trip and think that you're going to build a real business that has these kind of numbers and relationships supporting it. Okay. So commit to 2, maybe in your mind, tell yourself it takes 4. Seriously, if it took 4 years to build a business like this that gave you stability, confidence, and freedom, would it be worth it? 4 years is a college degree. 4 years goes by so fast, but yet most people won't diligently stick in, invest in themselves, have accountability, and work a plan. But I'm telling you, you are different, which is why you're listening to this podcast. You're coming to my sales mastery calls. You're in Catalyst with me. You're on my team and you're showing up for my accountability calls. So I don't know what more to say about believing it's possible, except you better get comfortable looking yourself in the eyes in the mirror and saying, I can do this. I was put on this earth for a special reason. I was given God-given gifts and talents, and I need to squeeze the juice out of every one of those talents. I've got to dig down deep and find out why I'm going to do this and how I'm going to overcome self-doubt and hesitation and procrastination and just do the work and believe that if you do the work for this 2 to 4 years, you will have this business. Okay. Now, do market conditions affect? 100% they do. I have some of my best loan officers right now closing 15 to 18 deals a month saying, Shayla, how do I be at 30? And I'm like, girl, you're doing the work. You have the number of partners. The market turns on just a little bit, boom, you'll be at 30 overnight. But I will tell you, the people that are doing one or two and they're on and off and they cut their momentum and that say they want to be at 7, that's not going to happen, right? You've got to be doing the work and the market will help. It will be like wind beyond your back. So we've talked about a vision of what you're going to build. We've talked about believing that it's possible. If you don't believe it, you won't even start or you won't even stay after it. So like those two things have to click in, okay? Then now I can teach you the plan. You need to have a prospecting plan, okay? Prospecting means that you are intentionally going out to build relationships with people that can work in and around your business and drive your business forward. You could be prospecting for new employees and teammates on your team. You could be prospecting for business partners to align with and grow business together. You can be prospecting direct to a consumer and a client and working with a client. So prospecting is about getting out there, putting yourself out there to build these relationships. Realize that a real business is built on the foundation of win-win relationships. Yes, a business can be built on marketing, but I'm talking to the average LO who's working in anywhere United States of America, not in a call center, not receiving thousands of leads from Super Bowl ads and gimmicks on the internet. I'm talking about real referrals, people that you love working with, a business where you make an impact in your local community. So this requires constant prospecting. And if your mindset isn't of one of a rainmaker, where you say, my job is to make it rain, to build and prospect and build relationships every day, then you're already out of alignment of your vision and what you're building to create this stability, confidence, and freedom. So what do we do for prospecting? Paul and Urschel created the 5-3-2 plan that we coach in Elevate Coaching. It's 5 hours of calls each week. Okay, that's 1 hour a day of intentional dialing for dollars. What do you do when you make calls? You book appointments. So whether these are cold calls to real estate agents to attend their open houses or to book coffees with the appointments with them, come give presentations in their office. Whether it's your Tuesday update calls and you're calling the listing agent and the buyer's agent and the buyer and you're asking for a referral or an appointment or an opportunity. Whether you're calling people you already know and you're inviting them to an event, that's booking an appointment. So 5 hours a week that you are intentionally making calls to book appointments. I will tell you that I believe a rainmaker books 2 appointments every single day. You could book 2 clients a day for Zoom pre-approval meetings or in-person belly-to-belly pre-approval meetings. You could book 2 appointments a day for coffee appointments, 2 appointments a day for attending open houses, 2 appointments for somebody coming to a leveraged event, a happy hour or a lunch and learn or a book study. Doesn't really matter, but as a salesperson, I want 2 yeses for appointments because sales goes from appointment to appointment to appointment. So we're going to do 5 1-hour call blocks to book appointments. The 3 in the 5-3-2 is have at least 3 face-to-face meetings with new business, new clients for pre-approval, new potential partners to partner with. Have 3 meetings a week, every week. And finally, the 2 is spend 2 hours in your archetype driving business through the door. If you're a networker, go spend 2 hours a week networking, okay? You can find tons of events everywhere. Go show up where there's groups of people and network. If you are a trust builder, go spend 2 hours belly to belly, one-to-one, or popping by businesses and seeing people and chumming it up and making friends and getting referred to other people. If you're a marketer, spend 2 hours focused per week on telling stories consistently and having your visibility out there as a marketer through your email newsletter, value bomb emails, social media, Whatever you can do, get on the news, go market other people's businesses. And if you are a technician, what can you do 2 hours a week as a technician? You can be thinking strategically on how to solve people's problems. Most agents have 3 problems: time, money, and stress. So if you were going to go prospect to agents, you're thinking, all of my agents right now, here's the 50 people that are on my ABC list. What is their greatest problem right now? What is the psyche of the borrower? What's going on in the market or the political environment? What's going on with the interest rates and the prices? And what products do I have in my quiver that I could tell a story about? What success stories have I had converting an SOL loan, a loan that was SOL? um, so as a technician, you can spend 2 hours strategically solving people's problems, and whether you're going to be sending out one-to-one text messages, whether you're sending out a value bomb email, whether you're creating something that's usable for an agent to do their business, that's what you're going to be doing with 2 hours, because you're in your zone of genius. You're in your archetype. You're in your power zone. So your prospecting plan, once again, 5, 3, 2. 5 hours of making calls to book at least 2 appointments a day. 3, host and be in 3 new meetings a week with new people to do business with. And 2, work in your archetype for 2 hours a day. If you've not gone to my website, ShaylaGifford.com, and taken my Rainmaker Archetype Assessment, you need to stop now and go do it. It'll take you 4 to 5 minutes, and I will give you the blueprint and give you the words to understand what your strengths are and also where your weakness is, where you kind of bump into your comfort zone depending on your archetype. So there's several other layers to the plan, okay? There's how you manage your time, how you set up your day, how you run your meetings. I believe all pre-approval meetings need to be face-to-face. This is when you are on show. If you make it too easy for people, if when they call you for the first call, you give them 35 minutes of your time or 75 minutes of your time, if you're undisciplined about the way you do business, you will never scale. So you need to realize that that pre-approval meeting, once they've given you all their documentation, they've taken time off work, you've got husband and wife's attention together, whether it's on Zoom or in your office, that's when they're deciding if you are the professional that's going to help them get the job done. So that's the big show. That's all the prospecting you do and the networking you do and the social media posting you do is to get a lead, to book the appointment, to get them to that meeting. This is when you're giving real advice that matters. This is when you're going over a mortgage coach total cost analysis. This is when you're uncovering their fears, hopes, and dreams, and you're giving them very clear next steps. This is when you're edifying your real estate agent and you're guiding that real estate agent into how to save time, how to make more money because they know exactly where to guide this client and what their parameters are for their max price, their max payment, if they need seller concessions. And this is where you're lowering the stress of your real estate agent because you've sold them hard. You have also educated that client so they are more focused. And you've given very clear next steps and done a lot of the work up front to find out if you have deal killers, if you've got issues, so that you don't find out 3 or 4 weeks down the line when there's so much stress to be had. Okay? So then you're going to start working on your systems for how that first conversation goes. I can't go into all the systems, but let's just break down a few. That very first conversation should be a 10-minute conversation. If you give more than that, you're giving away the milk for free. Why would they come to a meeting? Okay? Your goal is that your realtors strongly refer you and you have a plan for how you want them to refer you. Do you want a 3-way text? Do you want a 3-way email? What information do you want about the clients when they refer you? If you don't train your agents the processes for success and the way that you work, you will never have a real business. Okay? So I prefer a 3-way email. And that way my team can be monitoring that email at all times and we get immediate service to that client. Also, it's so much better to have the paper trail. I'm very happy with the text message as well to say, hey, just shot an email to both of you. I'm really excited for you to meet. That's when I can do a quick selfie video and say, oh, I'm just walking into a client appointment or an event. I will call you exactly at this time. Or I'm going to have my loan partner call you right now to get some basic information and get us time on the calendar. And I'm edifying that agent. But the point is that you have a system for how you receive in a lead, how you put it in your CRM and what notes you take, what you say on that 10-minute phone call so that you know what their timeline is, what their goals are, a little bit about the things they're concerned with. You get to know how they know the agent and how strongly they're already connected or not. And then you can tell them the next step. As a salesperson, our job is to influence people to go from here to here, from A to B, from B to C to C to D. So I don't want to teach them how to build the whole clock. What I'm trying to do is get them from this step to the next step. And this is how all of a sudden somebody goes from never having a clue if they could buy a house to putting the keys in their own front door. You have templated emails that explain exactly what you want them to do on filling out your online app, or templated email introducing your loan partner who's going to take a phone app and manually data entry. You decide how it goes, but it needs to go the same way every time. That way you can actually build a calendar that has prospecting and sales time. You have solid pre-approval meetings so you don't constantly have fires on day 21 of every one of your loans because you didn't make people send you their documentation up front. So a real business person has discipline, they have boundaries, they have rules, and really what they have is a winning process. Because the way you will have confidence in your business and to align with more and more and more business partners is that you're confident you have a winning process that makes people feel psychologically safe, educated, causes way less problems, and you know that you can deliver. So speaking of delivering, my promise to a client is that we are going to close on time. We are going to communicate proactively. Every Tuesday, we're going to give you a Tuesday update call so you know exactly where you stand. And we're going to promise that our payment and cash to close is exactly what was promised. If I make any errors, I eat it. Those are the same 3 promises I'm making to an agent, on time, with lots of proactive communication, accurate numbers, but also I'm going to work and do everything in my power to convert this buyer into a full pre-approval meeting, because that's the high likelihood you will close. And I will edify the heck out of you for referring them to me so I can try to solidify that relationship. And the final thing is I'm going to be asking those clients for referrals throughout the process. But also I work a post-closing campaign and a customer for life strategy. So birthdays, annual loan reviews, HomeBot Digest, so that I can continue to work on getting a review for the agent and getting client referrals for the agent. So now you've got a plan. And there's so many more details to this, which is why you go to live events like Slay with Shay, or it's why you come to site visits and visit top producers and you actually watch them work in their system and say, okay, let me see your Salesforce. Exactly where do you put the lead? Where do you put the notes? Where do you put the next step? How do you update the agent? How do you run your pipeline meetings? What details on your pipeline reports? How do you easily do a Tuesday update call? How do you easily organize your pre-approval so you can bang through those calls on Wednesday? How do you look at your lead tracker so you can go back 90 days and always have your lead tracker? How do you do lead tracker reports so you can send them to your agents every week and say, here's all of our leads and exactly the stage and status? Here's how you run sequences. So if somebody is a lukewarm lead or they're a credit repair lead or they're a new construction lead, you have these workflow sequences using automation and you have tasks so that you don't drop the ball on anything. These are all really important steps to running a real business. But first, go back and make sure you have the vision. I want a team of 3. I want to be closing 15 deals a month. I need to be managing 50 relationships. I'm generating 75 leads. I'm meeting with 5 clients a week for pre-approval meetings because that's 20 a month. If I have 20 pre-approvals a month, I'm going to close 15 deals. We can dive in more into what is your value add when you meet with realtors, but you can also use what I just said, time, money, stress, and making them look good all the time. An agent just absolutely never wants to look bad because they put their neck on the line and refer to us a business. Now let's head into the accountability part, because it's one thing to understand logically the plan. It's a whole nother thing to JFDI. Just freaking do it. Don't change every other day on your process for intaking a lead. Don't sometimes put it in your CRM and sometimes not. Don't sometimes track your calls and sometimes not. Like, just committing to the plan and knowing that this is how you're going to build a real business is important. So accountability first comes with you tracking your sales activity. Now, whether you're going to use the Catalyst Planner or another version of a Win by Noon planner or the Greatness Tracker, I don't care. Every week you need to know my goal is to have 45 agent talk-tos. And you get excited about writing their names down, circling it, and noting how strong the call was. Okay, did you ask for an appointment? Did you close for the business? Did you show up prepared? Were you enthusiastic? Appointments, how many face-to-faces did you have? I want you to have 2 appointments minimum per day. That's 10 a week. The 5-3-2 would say you need 3 appointments per week. But you need to track that week over week over week. And then you need to know your leads, deals, and pre-approvals. I will always say number of butts in the seat is the number one indicator for what you're going to get paid on, okay? Because when a client takes time off work, they send you all their documentation, you have a real focused meeting, 30 minutes to an hour, educating them and overcoming their fears and setting up a game plan, the likelihood of that going to closing is super high. Usually about 65% of those meetings actually go to closing. So you want to orientate everything you do to that one metric of how many butts in the seats, pre-approval meetings did I have in the last week. The final thing about accountability is you need to see it so you have awareness around what you're doing, when you lose focus, where you're kicking butt. You need to be able to pat yourself on the back. You need to be able to show your team, I'm a rainmaker. This is my job. My job duty is to make it rain, to build and maintain these realtor relationships, and make sure that I'm leading the team. I'm setting the promises and the expectations that we can fulfill on a regular basis. You need to be accountable to your team. You need to be accountable to yourself. And ideally, you have a coach or you're on a team like mine where you're showing up every week reporting your numbers. That you say, I'm a business person, I know my numbers, and I've got a plan and I'm working the plan. Coaching changed my life because I all of a sudden played the game. I got more competitive. I tracked and made circles and had names on a list. I had a list, and I saw my progress week over week over week. My coach was more important in the fact that they were just there to receive the work, to have a placeholder for me to take a pause and stop on my business and go, did I do the work? Yes or no? Finally, think about the community you want to be around. You know, it's really hard to go out and build this business. Closing 15 loans a month, running a team of 3 people, managing 50 referral partners, constantly staying on your toes of being relevant and valuable and excited and enthusiastic is not easy. If it were easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would just go out and build this vision. Is it possible? Hell yes. Is it simple? Pretty simple. But it requires consistent, diligent focus and that belief over and over and over again, even after a bad week or a bad month, or you don't hit your numbers, that I'm doing the right thing. I'm sticking to the plan. And so my invitation to you is to really dial in these things. Get your vision written out. Build a real business. Continually work on your beliefs and your limiting beliefs and your crappy stories that are keeping you stuck and small. Then third, have a plan, track it, be accountable to somebody. And then lastly, be in community with other people doing this work, because you need feedback, you need competitiveness, you need collaboration, and you need to work together. How do you find this? Well, first, you can find it by listening to interviews like this, although that's kind of one-way listening. Second, you can get out into conferences and events because sitting around tables and being with people that are on the path is like nothing else. Third, you can join coaching communities. Come join me in Catalyst. Do the work, put in your pulse check. Let me see your progress. Reach out for help and for feedback. And finally, I hope you built a team and a community in your branch or within your company where you are not the only one striving to build this kind of a business, that you are in good company of other people doing it, who have done it, who are ahead of you that you can learn from so that you can keep getting that support. A lot of people call me and say, Shayla, I don't know if I'm with the right leader, or I don't know if I'm a good enough leader to lead somebody who wants to close 15 loans a month. And you know what? I find that to be true in our industry, and it disappoints me a lot. There's a lot of people who have a title of manager because at one point in time they were the top producer and it was the next title that they should get. But they are not in the game knowing how to help loan officers win right now. Or they're just tired, they're burnt out, or they had their success in 1982. So don't sit back and point fingers and say, well, my success is limited because of my branch manager or my regional, or people are out of touch and don't get it. Go and build your community. I've built a business in Reno, stinking Nevada, with 300,000 people. I've closed 6,500 loans with Guild Mortgage in 15 years. I didn't have any direct or local leadership. I didn't have a mentor or a manager, but I decided I wanted it bad enough that I started going out and finding it. And then I determined that I would be the leader that would create this for others because people did it for me. The coaches and the mentors that paved the path ahead of me, that gave me that strong feedback, that held me accountable, that made me believe that I could do it. If they could do it, I could do it. I said, you know what? Now that I'm figuring this out for me, now that I've put in my 2 years and I've built my business from 20 million to 40 million to 80 million, okay, it took me 2 years to get from 20 to 80. I'm going to turn around and do that for others. And that's how all of a sudden I started providing this structure and plan and game plan together for Jorge, and then for Brian, and then for Michelle, and then for Debbie Secord, and then for Jen Fiore, and then for Annette Hunt. And that's how we did it. And in 8 years, we went from just me to $1 billion team. We have 30 people on our team doing $1 billion. So it's an average of $30 million per loan officer. An elite high performance team, because as a leader, I determined that I wanted to create the framework. I wanted to create the plan. I want to lead by example, and I want to turn around and help other people do it too. So I hope this episode gives you some clarity on what it is that you can build. I truly hope that you go and build it. And if you need help, if you want to reach out and say, Shayla, I need some strategy. I've listened to these last 5 episodes. Here's what I put in place. Here's where I'm stuck. Then reach out to me. Come on my sales mastery call. Put your hand in the air. Join Catalyst so that you can be in community with me. And I promise you, I would love nothing more than to see you go and do this over the next 2 to 4 years. Thank you for being in my life and for being in our industry and for being so brave to go out and create a new life and a business that you love. Let's go out and be rainmakers.